Hello everyone, this is Prabjot, founder of Mediashark, and I welcome you all to the most inspiring podcast that we do at Mediashark. And today we'll be featuring Kanishka Thakur, one of the youngest career counselor in India. So despite of what career choices you make as a woman, it's very important for you to understand why you have to do something for yourself. So here we welcome Kanishka Thakur. Hi Kanishka.
Thank you so much, Prabjot. Thank you for having me. And I'm so excited to be here. For those of you who don't know, just a small disclaimer, Prabjot danced in my parents' wedding. So that's how I know her since then. And Prabjot has a very, very cute daughter, Kudrat. She was Kudrat in my parents' wedding.
Yeah,
and that is something that I go and tell everyone. And Prabjot inspires me so much. I'm not going to tell her pet name, but I remember when I went to my bua's house and they were like, so I'm just going to say Prabjot, but that's not a pet name. And they said, "Arey, usne media company chalu ki. Kanishka, something what you do." I said, "Acha, okay." I didn't know, but I always was intrigued, to know who this woman is, what does she do, and तब कुछ समझता नहीं था. But then when I met her, I was like, oh my god. First thing I looked at her and I was like, she's so pretty. Oh, she has a daughter. She's a typical Santoor mom. And look here, we hardly know each other since like exact one month. It's been a month.
Yeah, it's just been a month.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm glad that you were here, and I was actually the same thing happened with me. Somebody told me, there is this girl Kanishka Thakur, and she's also into the same business, and she's doing really nice and all. When I just started. So like, okay, yeah, I want to meet you, I say. And I think you just posted something and I texted you and then you didn't revert back. And I'm like, nah, she didn't reply back. Okay, but then after, of course, when we had a word, then I think, maybe you missed it. You missed my message or something like that.
That is the most common thing I get to hear from people. They're like, we texted you, you didn't revert back. Trust me, Instagram is one of my favorite apps, but yet the most shittiest app because it just doesn't get messages and message requests, it gives a hidden message request also.
Yes.
So when I checked, your message was literally there and I don't know why. Neither is her account, spam account or something. So it's just Instagram.
Follow on Instagram, this new thing has come. Now, if you follow you, then maybe you'll get to see my request. Otherwise, you'll not get to see
it. So Instagram is copying everyone and now they've literally copied what LinkedIn does. You need to be in connection or first or second connection to get those invites.
In which ways, coming out of the digital world that we are into, let's talk about you. Tell me something, like everybody would love to know what all you do because there are so many things that you do. So I would like to hear from you what exactly Kanishka does and who Kanishka is.
That is a very nice question because every person comes to me and they're like, "Acha, you're the career counselor, no?" The other person comes and says, "Acha, clients lete ho na, kuch to marketing ke liye." So I know that my positioning is so all over the place, and I think I've been like that since my very childhood. My mom, as soon as I used to come back home from school, she had put me in so many classes, and I had to do everything. So I remember when I was just in my engineering 4th year. I started my career and working long back, but in my 4th year, and I was doing way too many things. I had a government job, by the way. Not a lot of people know this. So I had a government job, and at that time I had this one client. I would like to name also. The client was Wings to Life. They're a life coaching company. And ma'am very beautifully told me, Shalini ma'am, Chetali ma'am, these are some clients who are my well-wishers and they still reply to my stories. And they told me, "Kanishka, you're all over the place. Find one thing that you like doing and stick to that." And whenever someone used to tell me that, I used to be like, "No, I don't want to do that. I like being all over the place. I like doing everything because I'm a person who loves perfection."
Yeah.
So even if I'm doing way too many things, I want that thing to be done. Nonetheless, I did realize you need to have a primary thing and then you need to have other things. So primarily, I have a business which is registered from the name ANU Media. And under ANU Media, we have these two companies. One is called Create and Influence. So not a lot of people understand that, so we just call it ANU Media, which is a digital marketing company. And the other is called CareerWise, which is a career counseling company. So just to give you a brief introduction, finally summarizing it, I talk too much. So that is, I started my journey as soon as I got into engineering because I knew I never wanted to do engineering. My parents forced me to study engineering. I wanted to get into psychology. So I did double degrees at a time. I did my engineering in ENTC and I did my BA in psychology. And I did my specialization in educational psychology and I did a special certification in career counseling. So at the age of 19 when I graduated, it was like I was one of India's youngest career counselors. So I started my journey with that. Then I had a government job. Then I started interviewing people for career series. And that's how I got into the field of personal branding, digital media overall. And then we had to register the company because we worked with one of the biggest companies in India. Can't name it because of NDA. And since then, I've had 2 bachelors, 3 masters, 2 businesses that I run, and a lot of things in place. I still feel I'm 25, so abhi bhi time hai to explore. That is why I don't want the exact positioning in there.
Right. Of course, there's a, you're too young and there's a long way for you to grow life. So my next question to you here would be, why did you choose to be an entrepreneur? Okay, at such a young age, like 19, you started as a career counselor. It's an age where people don't even understand what career path they should choose. And you were career counseling there. Was it not difficult? Because people say, "Hey, to bachchi humko kya sikhayegi?" Right?
Yes.
And then you taking that journey as an entrepreneur.
Right. So just one thing to clear, because a lot of people, maybe if they see it, they question that how at the age of 19 you started career counseling. I got certified at that age, but I was still not confident. So I didn't start practicing it there, and then I needed internships. So I started a little later, 1.5 years later. But nonetheless, yeah, definitely it was a difficult journey. So I have this very close friend, okay? And one day he just asked me, he had just come back from abroad, and he asked me, "Kanishka, what is your vision?" And very bluntly, I just told him to change the work culture in India. And he just laughed it out and he said, "Alright." So this vision I kept telling people for the past 2 years, but then I realized people don't believe in it. So I do not want to be an entrepreneur just for money, or let's say, just to give back to the society in the beginning. Now, of course, I realized, what impact can I make? But at that time, what I realized was that I used to hear so many stories from people, and they were not happy with their 9-to-5 job. Now, this one very vivid story I want to talk about, because I never used to create content, but on my Instagram, ek din I bunked my lecture. Then I went near those stairs and I started recording. I said, why do everyone wait for the weekend? Why can't they just enjoy after their 9 to 5? 5 baje ke baad to free ho jate hai na? And I got so much hate on it, because they're like, you don't know, you've never worked in a corporate, 5 baje ke baad hum free nahi hote hain, aise nahi hota hai. And then I was very intrigued. So then I was the person who had gotten the highest package in my college. I got a 12 LPA job, although I did not take it up. But then I delved into a government job. I've seen the government life, I've seen the corporate life, private life also. And to be very honest, I feel that culture was lacking. So I thought, मैं ना बहुत cool workplace बनाऊँ. Trust me, it does not work. The cooler you are as a boss, your team takes you for granted, for sure. So I started with the vision of changing the work culture. That's why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, to set an example. But finding the balance is still something on the way. But yeah, that vision still stays. So I started my journey for that. But then now there are a lot of things why I do it.
So अभी बहुत लोग ऐसे हैं, बहुत young, they want कि हमको boss नहीं चाहिए हमारे ऊपर. ठीक है, I want to be my own boss. I want to be an entrepreneur. Despite of not understanding that entrepreneurship is not that easy. You have to sacrifice on so many things. I know sleepless nights that I have had. I know the time I cannot give to my daughter at times. I am continuously moving out, right? As a mom, I have to be there. Family is nowhere. Then I think I've lost a lot of relationships in this journey, right? So for them, and I'm sure you would also have lost a lot of friends, because they don't understand your culture, your life, your work timings. There's no timing. But I think there's no timing for us as an entrepreneur. So this 1 year that you have spent 3 years, I just spent 1 year, but that 1 year was very difficult. And difficult in sense for me to process as an entrepreneur. And people think it is very easy.
Right.
So what do you think about it? Should they, and what should be the first step? If they want to start as an entrepreneur, what should be the first step that they should take?
So this question has lots of parts. So I'm going to address one thing at a time. So a lot of people feel that they should not have a boss over their head, and they're absolutely right. Nobody should have a boss over their head. But no employee will ever feel that if they have a leader on top of them. And if they think that I don't want to have a boss on top of me and I would want to be my own boss, trust me, it does not work. So when I started my journey, I had the same team for 1 year. and I used to brag about it. Like the retention ratio of my employees are amazing. Then the same friend who had just come back from abroad, he suddenly questioned me, Kanishka, is your team time dependent or skill dependent? And then I said, who are you to question me about my company? So I'm one person who gets offended and I'm just like, you don't question me about my company, and I do that only when I don't have a right answer. So then I did not answer him anything. But as soon as I went back home that day after that meeting, next day I asked my team members, ask yourself, are you time dependent or skill dependent? And two of my team members actually got angry from within. They, of course, they didn't express, but they were like, we do so much work, this, that. I said, what work do you all do? I questioned that. So the first employee that I lost, and I was hurt. I was genuinely hurt because then, suddenly it clicked her. And she's like, so what, even I can do this. I only make content for you. Na? I can do it. I said, okay, I did not question it. But I know till late, so I have this habit for the first 5 minutes, whenever I put up a story or post on my Instagram, I engage. So I kind of see who's seeing my story. And she's amongst the top 5 people who watches my story constantly. I got to know from another team member who was a best friend, and that other team member still works with me. And she, I'll tell you, is an entrepreneur in my company. I'll explain about that as well. So it doesn't work like that. She was scared of her boss, and maybe I wasn't a good leader back then too. And I'll also explain why I wasn't a good leader back then and what makes employees stay with you for a long period of time. But this is the problem. People should really not have a boss, and even people should not think that, oh, I need to boss someone around.
Yes.
This word boss is used so lightly, and people in friendship also say, don't need to be the boss around and boss around in your friends. Yeah. So you need to be a leader. If you lead by example, people are going to follow you. So that was one thing. The next thing is, what about entrepreneurs? You don't have a work-life balance. You don't you're working so much that people just don't want to stay with you. I mean, the right people will stay. And definitely there is no work-life balance. I can understand, but we need to strive for it, is what I realized. And the biggest thing that I've lost as an entrepreneur is my health. Because friends are important. But I still realize, just before the call, Prabjot saw, I got a call from a friend, and that person has been my friend since 7 years from my engineering. And he has seen from a Velli Kanishka, who pura time would be like, bro, chalna jata hai, bro, chalna ye karte, to someone it's so difficult to get in touch with again. So, as an entrepreneur, first thing, you definitely don't have work-life balance, but you need to strive for it. Now, I consciously make sure that I'm not taking calls when I'm talking to my parents. Even though I'm just talking to them, let's say, for half an hour in a day. But for them, that is also a very happy thing. And Prabhat was also telling me that at the end of the day, she sits with her daughter, she sits with Kanishka, and she makes sure that she's talking to them. So we don't have timings, but we making time for those people is what matters.
Yeah, because लोग इतने busy हो जाते हैं अपनी life में, as an entrepreneur, they want to, हम तो सिर्फ काम ही करते हैं. अरे, but no. You have to balance this.
Yes.
Somewhere you have to, sometimes you can't.
Correct.
वो can't वाला situation ऐसा होता है, you really can't.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not कि आप नहीं कर सकते हो, you can. It is your choice.
Correct. Very true.
Right?
So, one thing about me and Prabhat both is what I realized so my brother, जिनकी अभी शादी हुई when me and Prabhat met, so भैया told me कि Kanishka, I didn't come to you earlier because मुझे लगा तू इतनी busy होती है. So people assume that we are busy all the time and they don't disturb us, which is a very beautiful thing, because the right people who understand, they do. As we were talking about losing friends, people who didn't understand, I've lost them and I'm happy. But people who understand, they're still there with me.
Yes.
So Bhaiya did this, and trust me, the entire wedding, me and Prabhu, even though we had a business, we were there. So we are there for people who matter and people who understand us. I'm pretty sure Bhaiya didn't disturb you before the exact things.
No.
He didn't disturb me also. So we also made sure that jab it was his main day, we were there for him.
We were there.
Yes.
Every day. We didn't miss a function.
But not even one single. So that's what matters, it goes both ways. You can't people can't complain, you don't have time. I mean, what did you take efforts for us? That we should give that in return.
Right.
So that is what I feel.
And when we say no boss, okay? Today, as an entrepreneur, we have 1 million people sitting on, because our client is our boss, our employees are our boss,
Right.
okay? they also, like, we are answerable to our employees, we are answerable to the customers that we have, we are answerable to our family, we are answerable to our friends, we are answerable to the customers of our customers.
Right.
You know, so there are n number of, so everyone is our boss. You have to just answer one person. And they think that entrepreneurship is very glamorous, right? But it is not.
Yes, very true.
Right? It is not that glamorous. So again, yes, of course, they should start a journey as an entrepreneur, but they also need to understand that it is not going to be as glamorous as you feel, or easy as you feel it is going to be. So you have to be prepared for this.
Yes.
So talking about the preparation of being an entrepreneur, what kind of, who inspired you firstly? And maybe who mentored you to be an entrepreneur? For me, like, it was nobody. Right? Though I come from a background of an entrepreneur family, but still I never took my dad seriously because I thought that actually वो तो उनको करना ही था. So I never learned from him.
Right.
And today also, at times what happens is कि मुझे कुछ problem होती है ना कभी, so I never go to my dad and ask him इसका मैं कैसे. He tries to help me, but I don't want to take his help. So this thing happens with me. So in your journey, who was your mentor?
So, every time because I don't come from an entrepreneurial background at all. So whenever something like this comes up, people come and tell me that, Kanishka, oh, you're self-made, how beautifully you made it. But I do not call myself self-made. The reason being, because, I have this habit of, so I'll tell you a small story, okay? I have a lot of stories. So I have this habit, so a lot of people also don't know that I was preparing for UPSC. So मेरे dad की इच्छा थी, बेटी हुई है, 12th करेगी, engineering करेगी, UPSC करेगी, IAS officer करेगी, शादी कर देगी. Like, they had decided what Kanishka is going to do since
I like it.
So, when I was preparing for UPSC, I used to come back home in a bus. So I really don't like driving also because I love travel when somebody else is driving for me. So when I used to travel by bus, मेरे पास बहुत time होता था. तो ना मैं जितने भी calls है जो भी थे ना वो आते time करती थी. And I used to sit in the bus. First thing I used to do is dial, call, and I used to talk. Then एक दिन क्या हुआ? A girl entered and she was standing and she started talking. She started talking on the call. And I was just observing her and I was like, do I look like this when I'm talking on the call in a bus? And since then, I've never spoken on a call whenever I'm in a bus or in a public place. Now, I learn from when I look at people because I know, oh, I'm doing that mistake. Similarly, we once went for a dance class and there was this one random girl who sat in the car for, we were going together and she started talking. And, she thought, oh, we are best friends, and she started as a roasting, masti mein and all. She was very innocent and kind-hearted, but that is me. And that's when I realized, oh, that is disrespectful. Do I do that to my friends? Do I do that to my friends who I meet randomly? And that's when I realized, no, you need to give time to people to adjust who you are. So, similarly, in my entrepreneurial journey, I have done tons of mistakes. Like, jitne mistakes मैंने किए हैं ना, I doubt उतने mistakes किसी ने किए होंगे. But one thing is, एक बार I understand, I learn. So, as a business person, so I have this friend, उसके dad, he was the president of BAI Nashik. And उन्होंने मुझे बोला था, Kanishka, you come. जब मेरा वो ceremony था that he was being given that thing, and I was like, wow, yeah, this is so cool. I really want this. So then that's how I thought of getting into business. But what business and all was मुझे नहीं मालूम था. So a lot of people have somewhat inspired me to do it. Then I had a consultant named Himanshu Agarwal. Now he's become pretty famous thanks to our PR just today. So he's become pretty famous now. So he was my consultant. He consulted me till a certain time. But then the major role happened when there was this one person who I hired. Her name is Dhwani. I genuinely owe it to her. So she comes from a background of almost 12 years of experience. So whenever I used to do something, she used to be like, no, I don't think this is the correct position. When she came here, actually no, I had gone for an event in Mumbai and I was holding a bag, She is elder to me, okay? And she did not even let me hold my bag. Why? Because she's like, no, you're my boss. Like, you're aise karenge. And then I was like, no, I don't like it. But she's like, you don't know how much positioning matters. The smallest of things I've learned from her, the positioning I've learned from her. And that's when I realized that even though I did not have an exact mentor who told me कि marketing करो या business करो या कुछ करो, small people around me have taught me. And from Dhwani I learned perfection. कि काम देना है ना अच्छा तो या तो मत दो. So a lot of people have inspired me. Like, to be very honest, Prabjot has inspired me this thing कि when I come to her office I'm like, bhai, I want this office too. So you know, I have so many mentors, people who are around us who tell us कि यार इसके जैसा ये काम करना है, इसके जैसा ये काम करना है. So when you put all of those things in a basket, that's when you try to gain that perfection.
So now, एक बहुत अच्छी बात बोली है. You know, you said Dhwani, she didn't let you pick up the bat despite of her age. You know, she is elder to you, and you're being a young entrepreneur. How easy or difficult it was for you to manage a team with people? Of course, they would be elder to you also, right? Abhi, with my age, I have little younger people. I don't want to.
She's 22, by the way. I
am 18. Okay, so mainly it is very easy, maybe, you know, for me to make them understand that yes, I have this experience, and I come with this experience, and that's how what I'm telling you have a point.
Yes.
Though they have a point, I listen to their point also. I welcome whatever they want to tell, but in your case, how easy or difficult it was for you to manage this, or you know, take this from people, or they taking this or your orders? I mean, like orders. I don't order anybody.
Doing something for most important.
Yes.
So I think there are 3 things into this. Okay. One, I'll mention these 3 points and I'll break it down. So about a person who's elder to us or younger to us, the first point we need to understand is how does age affect. The second thing is how does your experience or knowledge matter, and third thing is how do you position yourself. So the first thing that we'll talk about is how does age matter. You might have seen the youngest of child, just a child or a teenager being super disrespectful. But you might have seen even a 50-year-old having so much humility and humbleness. Okay? So age is not just, or a person listening to us is not just dependent on age. It's about what upbringing and how much knowledge and wisdom that person has. Because I have seen people younger to me not listening to me because they think, oh, we know so much. Unko apne hi hawa mein ho rahe. But then I have seen people who are elder to me, but they are so humble. Like, I and the whole team have so much to learn from Dhwani, but she's always so respectful. She makes me feel like, you know, you are also teaching us.
Yes.
She makes every team member, including the intern, show that, oh, there's so much to learn from you. And the second thing is how much knowledge and wisdom you have. If as a leader, if as a founder of my company, I don't have more knowledge, or not say that, let's not say more knowledge, because of course I strive to hire smarter people than me in the team. But if I don't have that required knowledge and wisdom and calmness to lead my team, they would not want to work with me. So let's say if one of my team members comes to me to ask a question, and I push that person off by not answering properly or not giving the exact solution to that person's problem, he will not listen to me next time when I need something from that person. And the third thing is how do you position yourself? Whether are you someone who is approachable to your team? Are you someone who is very, kind of someone who a team is scared of coming to you? So these 3 things play a lot of role in your team member listening to you, let's say taking your orders, not taking your order. Because let's say if I am someone who's very sweet and approachable, then at a point my team will do pity ki yaar Kanishka ne bola hai, chal kar le. If I am very strict, then they'll be like, oh shit, Kanishka ne bola hai, ye kaam karna hai. But the maintaining that balance is the third point. The second point is where you, because I have knowledge, let's say if a team member is facing an issue, I don't know video editing professionally, but if my team member is having a problem and if he's approaching me for something, and if I'm able to find a third way or middle solution for him, he is going to listen to me because he's like, bhai, isme wo smartness hai, right? Of course. And of course, the first point where age, if a person comes from a place, I've had a girl younger to me, she's from XYZ. If I tell the state, I think people will know because I've spoken about this story in my stories. So she comes from a wealthy background. So she was like, "Arey, मुझे तो ये internship की ज़रूरत नहीं, मत करो फिर. You're not listening to me for something that is, I'm giving you knowledge in return. Money cannot buy you that."
Yes.
But then we've had people who are elder to us and have been super humble. So I think age is a factor. Definitely, people don't take you seriously, but people will take you seriously when they know that, oh, you're smarter than this person. And there's one more thing I want to talk about: experience. पहले की जो जॉब प्रोफाइल्स होते थे, लेट्स से द जॉब दैट माय डैड वाज डूइंग और अदर पीपल आर डूइंग, उसमें एक्सपीरियंस मैटर करता है. लेट्स से इन फील्ड ऑफ आर्मी और एनी गवर्नमेंट जॉब, You cannot get immediate promotion until you're a certain age. अब वैसा नहीं है. What matters is आपको efficiency, वो उतने से time period में आप किसी और से ज़्यादा experience ले सकते हो. If that person is moving at the speed of 2x, if you're moving at a speed of 5x, you're still ahead than the other person.
Exactly.
So I think all of these factors take a lot of role in all of these things.
Also, just you were saying, there's a girl that you said that she came from a very good fancy background and she didn't want it to listen to you. So similarly, like in my company also, when I started, 1 year we had like a family, we were growing together, okay. But then the retention became a problem. Like you also face that. Maybe people come go, okay. And for us also, there are so many people doubting us. Okay, as a client is doubting you, family is doubting you, your friend is doubting you, your employees start doubting you and all. And it happens only in startup, because startup is something where you have to be very strong. Right? You cannot just give up on things. And that is when you have to, your willpower has to be very strong to do it.
Correct.
वो होता है ना जो जिसमें जिगर होता है वही कर सकता है. Otherwise they give up. Similarly, I think the people who are working with us also should have that jigra. So I have like core members in my team, 3-4 core members who are like really very. उन्होंने वो दिन भी देखे हैं where we had a drop,
right,
and then we had that rise again. So they were there with me. So and people जो आए गए because they didn't have that thing in themselves. So they cannot blame a startup कि इन्होंने किया नहीं. We did as much as we can, ठीक है, or we could, and we are still doing as much as we can. But then people don't understand that how easy or difficult it is to work with a startup. So what was your journey as a startup when you started? How did you manage this when people were just coming and going?
Yeah. So, I expected this question because just before we started, the cameras, shutters went on. I took my phone from Swapnil to check the definition of startup. I'll tell you something about a startup. The Google definition of startup itself says that when a business or an idea that is in a very raw stage. So when you have something very raw, why do they say it's so difficult to go on a raw food diet? It doesn't have taste. It doesn't have that flavor. But when something is cooked, it has that flavor, it has that taste. Similarly, when you're in a startup, you don't have systems. And Himanshu used to tell me this, Kanishka, people fail, systems don't.
Yes.
So, as a startup owner at that time, I wouldn't call itself a startup because now we have systems. Now I don't think we're no more raw. We're not anymore raw. So, as a startup, the quicker you run behind getting systems in your business, the faster you are to get something in place that, if let's say an employee leaves, how do you replace that person? Or let's say if something is not in place, what do you get in place of it without being dependent on a person? That is where you get out of this problem.
Right.
So, to answer your question, the most important thing is when we face all of these issues, rely more on systems rather than people. And of course, you need those people. Now, I was talking about something called entrepreneurship. I don't know if I'm mentioning that correct. It's entrepreneur and it's intrapreneur. Now, what is an entrepreneur? A person who is an entrepreneur with an entrepreneur. So, I realized this when I had this habit of micromanaging. So, when we had one excellent girl, I used to still feel कि नहीं मुझे check करना है, मुझे ये करना है. So, after 3 months into it, I told her, what? I'll give you this budget, this thing, do things. Oh my goodness, things picked up after that. Why am I saying that? Because a person themselves has their own mindset. But to be very honest, I would say we are also blessed because हमने इतनी मेहनत की है. God has given us that wisdom to do something, to start a business. And not everyone has that. Even if a person has money, they cannot build a business. Even if a person does not have money, they can build a business. So it is also about wisdom. It's also about how do you do things. So what we can do as eagles is, just as you said, you have these 3-4 core employees. Why? Because they were with you in the beginning. They got to make decisions.
Yes.
When any team member gets the time to make decision in the company, they become entrepreneurs and they feel that this company is mine.
Yeah.
So, and this is what happens in big companies because people don't have that liberty to give their opinions.
Yes.
That is why they feel, यार क्या है ये 9 to 5 क्यों कर रहे हैं?
Yes.
So as a startup owner, I just tell everyone ki get over from that raw stage. Cook flavory, cook tasty. People would love to have it. People would love to stay. If you love a restaurant where something is delicious, you will come back to it. But if you don't have a good service, if you don't have systems in place, if you don't have your hospitality in place, people would not come to it. So I've done my share of mistakes, crazy mistakes. I've already spoken about a few of them. But how quickly can you adapt to systems? And those 3-4 employees, I just had one person in the beginning who's still with me. 5 years of journey of that girl, seeing me crying in a washroom in engineering college to Akshada still being with me. I mean, she is one blessing in her life. That one person makes a lot of difference. So people might fail you, of course not those 2-3 people who've seen our journey, but systems will never fail us.
So I think building a system is something best that an entrepreneur can do at an early stage, because this is the biggest mistake that people do, not building a system, and then they cry after 6 months कि यार कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा.
Correct.
Right? And entrepreneurs now, just few days back, I met 2 girls. Okay, actually they are 3 partners starting up with a new startup. They came to me कि हमें हमको digital marketing करना है ऐसे वैसे. And they said कि मैम 6 महीने ना हम तो खुद से पैसे डालने का सोच रहे हैं. क्योंकि हमने ये सुना है कि 6 महीने तो आपको अपनी जेब से पैसा डालना ही डालना है. I said why even are you thinking this, or why are you having this even state of mind कि मुझे 6 महीना पैसा डालना है? For me, to be honest, touch wood, मैंने 1 रुपया भी आज तक अपनी जेब से बिजनेस में डाला नहीं. जो business I'm bootstrapping. Right. There were days where I literally had no money in my account because I put that money in my business again.
Right.
All this is because of that. Right? My money. I didn't get money from anywhere. Right? This was my business that was helping me build the business. Right? So, of course, I'm not saying I'm in a big profit right now. It's just been a year. But again, I am in profit. So, profit building is something that people should learn. And not having this mentality of कि नहीं हम तो खुद की जेब से डालेंगे ना. जब आप ये mentality लेके आते हो, right, you know, then तो आपका business ना चलने वाला है, ना आपका कोई खुद का vision है. तो जब आपका खुद का ही vision नहीं है, तो what vision are you going to give to your employees?
So for that ना, I thought of this same thing because मुझे भी ऐसा है कि you know, my mom tells everyone that Kanishka started everything from zero. She did not take money from us and all. But recently, so we have this one client. He is CA to Shikhar Dhawan. He has celebrity clients and all. So you know, he told us this one thing, that Kanishka, you're running a traditional business. A traditional business is where you're bootstrapping. जो भी पैसा है उतना ही करो. You don't want to run fast. But for somebody who wants to gain investors, I mean, I don't know the exact story. But those people are thinking of bootstrapping, then that is correct with what you said. But then there are some startup founders, like let's say all of these people who have, you know, taken funding and been a unicorn. कुछ लोगों का mind है कि हमको सिर्फ exit चाहिए. Unicorn बनाओ, exit करो. बड़ा company बनाओ, exit करो. They put money in the first 6 months and then they say कि अभी हम investors लाएंगे because they need to show कि हमने कितने में start किया. But if they were bootstrapping, then definitely, absolutely correct. Another point when I've said is people think 6 months is enough. 6 months is not enough. So you know, I cry a lot. Abhi I don't, but I am very emotional. Like कुछ भी panic. Like I know the solution, but पहले मुझे रोना है. पहले मुझे panic करना है. I put that story also today. So you know, for that ना, so I told you I have a lot of mentors, and I remember किसने मुझे क्या बोला है. So Bhani used to tell me this thing कि कोई भी business को ना give 999 days. And then she used to tell me that Kanishka, 365, let's say 365 days done. These many days to go. So give yourself 999 days. If you fail in those 999 days, then okay, that business has failed. But जितना भी dip जाए, negative जाए in those 999 days, if you're able to build it and sustain till that 999th day, your business is a success at 999 days. So those words will always ring in my head. So
just as you said, so I also saw one ad, Bolvita का ad था, where she was talking to her mentor or mother, I don't know. She was saying कि देख मैं इतने दिन से practice कर रही हूँ, but मैं अब तक finish line पे नहीं पहुँची. And then she says पीछे मुड़ के देख, where are you standing right now? And she said फिर उसको लगता है कि हाँ यार मैं तो यहाँ तक आ गई. You know, it's just little far away. Right. So people don't understand this. मेरे साथ भी ऐसा होता था कि पहले मैं ये you know बहुत रोती थी कि यार मेरे को जो चाहिए था वो मिला नहीं, or maybe this happened, that happened, you know, as you crib as girls always. So, but then after seeing this ad, it was an eye opener for me. कि when I started, I had like 0 client. I'm sitting now with 20 clients and I am picking up my clients. I don't work with anybody who's coming in my office कि हाँ चलो हमको कराना है तो हमको. No, I choose my client, whom I want to work, because your vibe should match with your client, right? It should not be कि काम कर लिए and then your client is also cribbing, you are also cribbing, and it is not matching.
Right.
So for me, it is very important for that vibe to match, and again I just went off the topic by saying this, but then again, yes, these people they give up. यार हम वहाँ तक नहीं पहुँचे, नहीं कर पाए.
Right.
Despite of understanding, see where you were, and I find myself very fortunate to be sitting here doing this podcast, because when I started, like, we had only 10 views, 3 views, whatever, and now we have reached to a little, I'll not say a lot of views and all, but then people have started knowing that yes, I do podcast, and people have started coming to me. We also want to do podcast with you, So again, I choose.
And you were also mentioning that you had a very small place pehle for podcast.
Yes.
Now you have a big space. You have 3 cameras, 3 mics, and so many things.
Yeah.
So I completely resonate with that. I have this thing ki, I'm a very emotional person. Okay, like I told you the first time, I didn't want to let go. But I am one such person ki ek baar I let go, I don't look back. So I was sitting with my mom and I was telling my mama, does that make me a bad person? एक बार I let go of someone, then I become very heartless, ruthless. Even if that person wants to come back, I won't. So Mama said, no, I think that's fine. And she's like, maybe you get that from me. So I'm like, I don't know if it's a good thing or not. But then, I have this thing, I believe in God a lot. So whenever I think of something, next thing is मुझे उसमें कुछ दिखता है. So I saw a quote, and I do remember very few quotes. Okay, it was like the only time you should look back is how far you've come.
Yes.
And from that day, what I started doing was we started having monthly goals. So anybody who's been following me on Instagram since long knows that every start of the month I talk about the goals that I'm going to have for this month. And then at the end of every year, I sit and I see. So I make 2 goals, one personal, one professional. I have achieved 12 personal goals, 12 professional goals. Overall, let's say 24, 25 goals for a year. And I keep telling this to everyone, even if you strive to be 1% every day.
Yes.
I'm talking about every day. I mean, I could do it 1% a month. If you strive to do 1% every day, that is 365% of a growth, and that is massive. So now we mat karo, 1% for personal, 1% for professional, and 12% growth every year. Imagine that. Like, लोगों को 10% growth मिलता है, some people want 40%. अगर आप उसका double, triple लो, और अगर आप 1% every day strive करो, you are having a growth of 365%. And every year, without fail, I sit and I write how far have I come, what have I achieved for this year. Last year मुझे इतना feeling नहीं आया because I had a fracture. So starting के 3 months तो मेरे bed पे ही गए थे. And उसके बाद I started traveling. So मुझे ऐसा लगा था I did not get productive. I did not do so many things. But then last year was the year my company was registered as a private limited. Last year was the year I got an award. I got a career change maker award, a national level award. And that's when I realized कि ये जो छोटे achievements दिख रहे हैं वो इतने बड़े थे that I mitigated for the 3-4 months.
Yes.
Because I know we did not have a single house. So not having a single house, registering your company, not having a collateral to show that you're ready for a business, I had a hard time. 3-4 months of registering my company. So वो दिखता नहीं है, So that is when I started writing things down, and that made it easier to see how far I've come.
So people who are watching us, they want to actually know that entrepreneurship शुरू कैसे करें. What ideas can they get to start an entrepreneur? Or maybe give them some ideas or fields where they can start their entrepreneurship.
Correct. So first of all, entrepreneurship is a very big word. Not everybody can call themselves an entrepreneur very easily. The next thing is everybody has their own journey, their own reasons. Some people, it might be a way to earn money, and they're very determined about it. For some people, it is for creating an influence out there. Then for some people, it might be a way of, let's say for me, it was changing the work culture. My only say for everyone is have a vision. Have something that you wake up and strive for every day. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs की business करना है. क्यों करना है? बस business करना है. Very cool. It looks cool. But when you come with that initiative कि हमें business करना है and it looks cool, and you feel like अरे पैसे हो जाएंगे, ये चीज़ हो जाएगी, it doesn't work like that. You need to have something that drives you to wake up and do things every day. I have two people in my life. One is a client and one is a friend's friend. जिन्होंने श्योर बोल दिया, एक पर्सन ने बोला मुझे 40 करोड़ अकाउंट में चाहिए, मैं रिटायर हो जाऊँ. That is a good enough vision to have. That person knows exactly कि मुझे कितना काम करना है. He has strategically worked it out कि मैं per month इतना कमाऊंगा, इतना सेव करूंगा, इतना इन्वेस्ट करूंगा, अपने अकाउंट में 40 करोड़ रखूंगा, I can retire. Good enough. For me, I never want to retire. So I will keep working until it makes me happy. So if anybody wants to start their entrepreneurship journey, don't just do it because entrepreneur looks cool. The biggest and the easiest and the most favorite thing that I like to tell people is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, solve a problem. Because it gives you a sense of satisfaction. It gives you money, because money is a part and parcel of things once you solve a problem. Don't do it for the sake of being an entrepreneur. So if you want to start your journey of entrepreneurship, solve a problem and have a vision. Once you solve a problem and you have a vision, let's say your vision can be earn money. But to earn that money, if you're doing it from the wrong means, that you're not an entrepreneur. Like, I believe it's not an entrepreneurship, because the word entrepreneurship has a very deep meaning to it. So if you want to start your entrepreneurship journey, know that you need to have a vision. Money is a part and parcel, money आएगा. Solve a problem. Once you know कि आप क्या problem solve कर रहे हो ना, and most importantly, read the book 0 to 1. It gives so much perspective. People come up and say that, oh, we have a unique idea. We are going to start something unique. So for one of our clients, we have these Wednesday networking calls. We get him connected to every startup founder, and we've had numerous Shark Tank founders come up. Today we had another guy who's creating a unique software. That client came on the call and he told him how that software is not going to work because it's not unique. People don't do that market research. So have a vision, do your market research, solve a problem, but वो solve problem करते टाइम don't forget कि आप देखो बाहर वो चीज है या नहीं. हम अपने ही सर्कल में इतना होते हैं, अपने ही माइंड में इतना होता है ना, that वो कर नहीं पाते. Yeah, other than 0 to 1, also read this book, The Mom Test. It was suggested to me by one of an ex-IITian. Brilliant book. You will finish the book in 2.5 hours. Brilliant book. It tells you how to ask the right questions. Why is it called the mom test? Is because whenever you go to your mom and say, Mama, I made this drawing in school. Your mom is always going to say, wow, it's so good. So it's the mom test. If you can ask your mom the right set of questions. Let's say you come from school and you show your mom a drawing, and your mom looks at the drawing and she says, ये क्या बनाया है? ठीक है? That's when you know is it good or no. But if you don't tell your mom that it's not yours, the idea is not yours, and you get an original answer from your mom, because एक माँ को हमेशा लगेगा कि अपना बच्चा सही कर रहा है. So if you can get the right answer from your mom, so the book talks about how do you ask the right questions. एक meeting कितने देर तक चलनी चाहिए? If your meeting ends by them doing your तारीफ and there is no actionable steps, then you're going nowhere because it's not taking you anywhere. And that book has helped me so much. मेरे meetings 3 घंटे चलते थे. Now they don't go more than half an hour. And the mom test has been one of the most beautiful books that I've ever read, along with 0 to 1. So definitely check the mom test out.
So like you were saying, problem solving. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि अब आप market में जाओ सब चीज़ में problems ढूंढने लगते हो, right? At times, yes, problem solving is important, but also I read this quote very nice from Ruffman, I guess. He used to say कि अगर मुझे कोई बोलता कि मुझे fast भागना है, तो मैं उसको गाड़ी नहीं देता, horse this thing देता. But I then wanted to do that, तो मैंने गाड़ी का invention किया, right? Similarly, ऐसी चीजें करो जो ease दे लोगों को. Paytm came. पहले वही again this I heard in a podcast where he said I learn a lot from podcast only. I'm not a reader. I cannot read. Okay, and I cannot listen. I can watch. I'm a learner. सिर्फ वो watch करके मैं learn कर सकती. तो उन्होंने बहुत अच्छे से बोला. Paytm आया. Somebody, and this was a Ayush Jaiswal. He was saying this. He said कि when Paytm came, उसके पहले भी लोग शॉप पे जाके वो अपना रिचार्ज करवा रहे थे. But then Paytm came और लोगों ने वो शॉप पे जाना बंद कर दिया, बल्कि वो भी easy था. But यहाँ पे like और easy हो गई. So either look for a solution, problem का solution, or look for an ease that you can give to people. Right, using AI, using new technologies and all. So these are the two basic things I think you should use if you want to really get into a startup. Right. And not just doing the same thing that anybody else is doing.
So 0 to 1 does talk about that as well, growing vertically and horizontally. So if we are starting something new, that means it's a new idea. Like for us, our business, it's not a new idea.
Yeah.
But what we are doing is we're picking the same idea and doing it beautifully.
Yes.
So either you take the same idea and you go a top notch in your business, that's what will make you stand out, or you come up with a new idea. See, there's only so much. And the first few chapters of 0 to 1 will give you so much insight that I closed the book. I got a physical book. Actually, I was gifted a physical book because I loved that book so much. I closed the book, I had to take it in first of all. Bhai, he's talking about the graph जहाँ पे technology invent हुआ, फिर एक point जहाँ पे technology नहीं, people started reusing the same thing. Like our business, it's not new. Yeah. But the thing is, what makes us different?
Right.
Like what made me register my company as a private limited in a year that I had to get these many big clients. What cheese makes a lot of difference? Why am I still not a freelance? Right. So you don't always need to do something new because I don't think yet I have something in mind कि मुझे बहुत new invention करना है. But what can I do the simplest of things perfectly? Like you said कि चीजें हो रही थी पहले, और उसी चीज का अलग से ध्यान वो मैटर करता है.
And हम जिस इंडस्ट्री में ना, it's a very funny thing. I think you देखो भी ये चीज बहुत होगा. Suppose मेरा एक XYZ business है and you are my friend who have an ABC business, ठीक है? So I go to the same agency and say कि आप ना उसके लिए ये चीज करो, मेरे लिए भी ये चीज करो, but they don't understand कि what is working for that person is not going to work for you. So that's how the strategies are different. But when they go to an agency, they need to firstly understand what different are we giving as an agency. Because when we are sitting here, we come with an experience, you come with an experience, ठीक है, now these 3 years or whatever. So हम लोगों को strategies दे रहे हैं, हम लोग अलग दे रहे हैं कुछ तो भी जो बाकी लोग नहीं दे रहे हैं. Because they are implementing the same strategy for all the clients, and that is why clients are coming to us saying कि नहीं, मैं वहाँ पे खुश नहीं हूँ. आप खुश नहीं हो इसलिए आप मेरे पास हो आज. You need to understand. और आप इसलिए खुश नहीं हो क्योंकि वो आपको वही चीज दे रहा है जो बाकी सबको दे रहा है. So हम कुछ बोल रहे हैं तो हम कुछ सोच समझ के बोले, please listen to us. But they are talented maybe. So
but we are giving that strategies. I'll tell you this. This is something that I was really upset in the morning with my team. We are giving it.
Yeah.
What happened is, this girl I was talking about who's been working with me since really long, I got really upset on her in a team meeting today. So she sent me a proposal. So there are 2 brands, okay? I'm not going to name those brands, but a brand that is an ambulance company, and there is a brand that came in Shark Tank. Now what happened is, yes, XYZ brand को मैंने बहुत beautiful strategy, चलो मुझे मालूम है ad making है तो वो similar है, बाकी चीजें हमको बैठ के करनी. This XYZ ambulance brand को I gave a very low budget because they said हम actors in-house use करेंगे, सब कुछ in-house करेंगे, ये चीज कर लेंगे. I was like, sure, let's do it. This brand का today she gave me a proposal. She said, should I mail it? I said, of course not. What is this budget? क्या करेंगे हम 70,000? She's like, we can use in-house actors. I said, how can you use in-house actors for a premium brand that was in Shark Tank, जिसका founder खुद के call पे एक exquisite office में बैठा है with big logo of his company behind him. Look at the quality. एक brand को, एक इंसान को परखो. तो sometimes we don't realize कि मैं वही सोच रही कि I know that my business runs automatic, but छोटी सी mistake से क्या नाम खराब हो सकता है. अगर वो budget चला जाता ना, I would have had a hard time doing the production in that छोटा सा budget. So we give strategies because we think it is, and that's when I realized that it's still a long way to train my team to think about it, and that is where we don't have that work-life balance. ना मुझे समझा कैसे मिलेगा work-life balance, कैसे जाएगी आज podcast के लिए कनिष्का अगर ये complete नहीं हुआ तो. But I'm glad they take me positively and they made that difference. So ये strategy is, if they're not happy, first I think I should be happy with my team doing all of these small mistakes कि मत करो ये चीज. I mean, I understand it's a good initiative कि you really like the founder कि इसको भी कम budget में करके देते हैं. I said profit मत निकालो, चलेगा. पर मैं 70,000 में नहीं कर सकती हूँ कोई ad share. तो कैसे दूँ मैं वो चीज़?
So this is also a big thing that as an entrepreneur you need to think कि आप कितना अपने employees पे rely कर सकते हो और कितना नहीं कर सकते. क्योंकि अगर आप अपना पूरा business एक employee के ऊपर छोड़ दोगे, so again your image is on stake. People are coming to you because of you.
Yes.
Right? They don't care who are the employees in Mediashark.
Yes.
Or who is the employee A&O, right? So they are coming as your face value. So आपका image खराब हो जाता है and they are going to go and talk outside. अगर आपका team ने खराब काम किया, they're going to talk कि नहीं यार उसके पास मत जा, they are not good. So that is why मैं सीधा मना कर देती हूँ. This is not going to work.
Yeah.
So as an entrepreneur, you have to start learning to say no. चाहे वो कितना भी बड़ा फाउंडर है, कितना भी बड़ा कस्टमर है आपका, he is coming, उसको उसके बिजनेस का नॉलेज है, बट आपको आपके बिजनेस का नॉलेज है जो उसको हेल्प करेगा ग्रो करने में.
When Kanishka is not in the meeting, they'll be like, "Where's Kanishka?"
Exactly.
So we need to. That is why we're an agency. We're not freelancers. We need to separate our face value from our agency, and that is something. It's a long-term process. Like it has to be a company when even if the founder is not there, then the employees also feel as happy. But then back into your brain should be there. So that is why I kind of cut myself off. That even if I'm not there, my client should be happy with. कुछ भी हो कनिष्का बैकएंड में है तो दिल वो होता है ना कि हमें मालूम है हमारे पीछे किसका हाथ है वो होना चाहिए. So I can you can rely on your employees, you should, but to an extent. And no matter what, the brain child should. I like these South Indian movies. You know why? They have the same clients. The thing is तुम विलन को पकड़ लो लेकिन हमेशा उसके पीछे एक बड़ा विलन होता ही है. तो you have to be that बड़ा विलन who is the brain child of the mastermind whatever you are killing.
कनिष्का, हमारी बातें कभी खत्म ही नहीं होगी. I think I'll have to do another podcast. What do you guys say? I think हमको एक नया podcast फिर से
कमेंट करके बताओ एक और
if you want to do another podcast or please do comment us and let us know. So moving ahead, we play a game that we do with all of my guests. Okay, that's very interesting. With you, I'll do a little different. So we'll do a combination of what's in your bag plus a Q&A session very quick.
I've always wanted to do what's in your bag, but I'm so bad at it because मेरे इसमें ना कुछ लड़कियों वाली चीज़ है.
We'll see that. So let's see what's in your bag.
Okay. My goodness, I literally had my bag.
And you'll have to literally show.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, let me talk about. We're playing a game where Prabhu is saying what's in your bag. I've always wanted to do this, to be very honest. But मैंने हमेशा bags ऐसे अलग-अलग रहते. Plus I'm not as very fond of it or something. And मैं ऐसे नहीं हूँ किसमें lipstick. I tried that. I bought products just to put in my bag to try this out. तो कुछ नहीं है. Wherever I go, I just take this purse of mine. It was gifted by a client from Canada. She had come to Mumbai that time. She gifted this with all my cards and everything. Like this is my life. I'm telling you, इसके अंदर ये गया ना मेरी जान ऊपर ही चली. So when I went to buy this top, ये गायब हो गया था. 10 o'clock at West Side, the entire store के employees are looking for my bag because all we have it. So and they're just bills. That's it. There's bills. I have my AirPods because in case if someone becomes very boring or if I have to talk on a client meeting, that's it. And a pen. And there's nothing in my bag. No keys. Nothing. Keys also.
I think
बाहर रखी है मैंने. So there's nothing, and I guess I just got an extra pair of earrings in case these don't suit. और पैसे भी नहीं है. 10 रुपए है. अभी क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं है. Lip balm है because I carry my lip balm everywhere.
Yeah, and you should.
Yeah, and I don't have anything else. So it's very embarrassing as a girl. I don't have anything.
You are very beautiful, and if you are not carrying it also, still you look very beautiful. It's okay.
Thank you so much. Because we have people like Prabhu. So when I entered here, like Prabhu, makeup. She's like, makeup है. दिखा रही है makeup.
So I am a client who's into beauty. I have a lot of products that you use it.
So yeah, I mean, I am not that girly kind of a person. Yeah, not except cards and this thing. I don't carry anything.
I guess also what ये feeling भी आई थी competitors sitting together and doing a podcast.
So many, मेरे भाई Prabhu was driving में बाजू बैठे हो. हम दोनों जलब हो गए. We're like amazing enjoying. And then somebody makes a statement which is like two competitors sitting. I'm like what? Yeah. What even like look at us sitting over here. क्या है ये?
I don't even get that feeling of like look at you as a very as my younger sister. Or a very good friend. I don't feel like that. I don't see anybody as a competitor because everybody has their share of work.
Right. Plus both of us have given each other 1 month referral already.
Yes. And मेरा employee बहुत अच्छी बात बोलता है. He said कि मैम अपने नसीब का कोई नहीं खा सकता.
True. Very true.
उसकी ये बात मुझे इतनी लगती है. मैं हमेशा सोचती हूँ ये बात है. हाँ यार ये सही बात है. अपने आप किसी का काम चुरा दोगे, but आप उसका नसीब नहीं चुरा सकते. Right. So for me, nobody is a competitor. I never go out and ask her, इसका क्या है, उसका क्या है, I never know. I don't know who you are working with, who you are not. interested.
Yeah.
Maybe same with us, but yes, of course, अगर मुझे कभी लगेगा ना, this is a client that Kanishka can do better, then I will always go and refer it to you. I did this, you also did this for me. So I think this is how it should be in this industry.
Definitely.
But people don't do that.
You know, there are so many brands, so many people in this world that जितने भी marketing agencies हैं, जितने भी freelancers हैं, उतने कम हैं. You just need to find the right fit. Because कैसा होता है ना, let's say Prabjot has a client and I have a client. My client, one client is not happy with me. The next person is they go to Prabjot, they are a perfect fit. But Prabjot ka ek client hai, that client is not happy, they come to me, they're a perfect fit. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. And you know, one thing I want to mention why I started this media agency and I got an opportunity to come and say that to that person on the face. But I'm happy that that person was so this thing. So I never had an idea कि मुझे influencer marketing या digital marketing company चालू करनी. So people always used to say that you know these monkey people have a lot of attitude. Financial has a lot of attitude. And मैंने सोचा कि मैं तो लोगों से अच्छी हूँ because people like अंकुर वारिको अभी and you replied to me and they were very kind to me, very sweet to me. So I texted Virat Sher. I had his direct number. Texted. 2 years I waited for his reply. He did not reply. It was for an interview with Nashik. And then मैंने बोला, you know what? The best way to they say that if you want to change the system, get the system and then change it. So then I was like, okay, I started my own agency. Within a year, we grew so much that we did a business transaction with them. A business transaction which was more than 15 lakhs. And in an event recently, I went to Virat Sher and I just walked up to him and I said, so I had a conversation with him only, but he had not seen me. So I went to him and I said, do you know me? He said, no. So I said, you know me, but you don't know me by face. So I showed him I'm Kanishka. He's like Kanishka, and he was very kind actually in person. But मेरे में वो था ना, and I was like, you know, I reached out to you so much, but you didn't reply. And instead of he being offended by it, he took it positive. And I think that's what talks about the founder so much. That he knows where to give priority. Because उसके बाद आने के बाद मैंने सोचा, पहले जब मैंने reach out किया, तो मैं एक इंसान का time जो already established है, उसका time मांग रही हूँ for free. What am I giving in return? But as soon as there was transaction, I completely understand there does not need to be a transaction always. But as a founder, he knew कि जहाँ पे पैसा है, मुझे मेरे company, like of course they are managing करनी, जहाँ पे मुझे time देना है, he did that. So, you know, the reason I started proper marketing agency like that was that I can have my own agency too. Of course, it's going to take, they are there since so many years. It's just been a year to us. But as a founder, he knew his priorities, and as me, I think it gave me an inspiration to do something, to go to him and say it on the street. Now I do not just stand in front of him as someone who is asking for his time, but as someone who has of equal value and is telling him that, you know what, let's go and kind of do this transaction together. So competition कुछ नहीं होता है, we all work together.
Yeah. So now let's ask you a few questions. Okay, Kanishka, not a founder of a digital marketing agency or a career counselor. What Kanishka?
Actor.
Okay.
And nobody would deny that. So my mom is a brilliant actor. Like she can make a person cry even without dialogues. She is amazing. So other than this, I'm also a theatre artist. But yes, if given an option, I would love to be an actor. And everybody knows that. Like I don't even have to think about it. And whenever I say this, people are like, "Hey, it's a lot of you are that. Like if not this, I know you will do acting full time."
Okay.
Figure नहीं है मालूम था क्या कर लेंगे वो भी.
So Kanishka, what is your favorite sport?
Sports, but okay. No, so basically, one thing I just want to mention, my mom was a national level kabaddi player, and she realized कि of course वो time पे उतने ये नहीं थे कि तुम कितना भी कर लो देश के लिए in terms of sports, it's not considered so much, like you're not going to get so much opportunities as a woman उस time पे. So she thought कि मैं मेरे बच्चों को पढ़ाऊंगी, मैं उनको sports में ही डालूंगी. So she did not, all those activities she made us do, she never put us in any kind of sports because she's gone through things. Nonetheless, if given an option what to do, I would like to play badminton. Like I like playing badminton.
One of my favorite sports.
Yeah, but तो उस वजह से I've never played sports. Like मुझे अगर वो लोग relay race या कोई race में लेते थे स्कूल में, that was because I was a vice head girl and 2 points house को मिलते हैं. Extra 2 points because vice head girl playing, but मैं last time. In every 100 meter race, I was last. So, okay.
And who's your favorite Bollywood actor or like Hollywood?
So since I act myself, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि सब overacting कर रहे हैं, including शाहरुख खान, including everyone.
जवान कितना overacting?
बहुत overacting. We went for Jawan together.
Yeah.
But if asked who acts her name right. Jennifer Wickett. Jennifer Wickett is the right name. Oh my goodness, उसकी acting in बेहद was super. मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगा था I want to be that villain. She's so good. So Jennifer Wickett की acting in terms of girls and in terms of men, I don't think after I've seen someone who has that passion in them the way Jennifer Wickett.
तो जो boss lady वाला reels आता है ना, I love them. I want my reels to be like that.
Too good.
So I've actually copied her also in one of my reels. I remember he had posted it or not, but I did. I tried to make something like that. So okay. So the next question for you would be, what would you like to do in your free time? Work or spend time with your friends?
Work. And my friends know that so badly. So and that is so bad. So it's like I have a time with friends and they know कि okay Kanishka को जो time देना है तो time देना है, but even I mean I don't know, I don't have a rebuttal to that. I like working, so let's say even when I'm sad or upset, the easiest thing to do when I'm overthinking, I sleep early, but when I'm overthinking, I poem in the night also, and if I want to go away from that overthinking, I get up and work. So I think work brings me that happiness. It makes me complete.
And one question is,
what would you do? Work with friends or work?
I'd rather go in gym and work out than doing anything else, like But I have a very balanced life as an entrepreneur because again talking about system, I built that system. I feel now that I am giving time to myself because early morning 6 to 9 में आप कुछ नहीं उखाड़ दोगे, right? Yeah, I think that is the best time that you can give to yourself. So I said I do everything for my daughter. उसको उठा के ready करके स्कूल भेजती हूँ. Then I go to gym. Yeah, I come back, I get ready. Morning call I do from my home only, or on my way. I come to office, सबको पता है किसको क्या काम. So no, then मेरा interference वहाँ कम हो जाता है. Right. Clients की meetings are fixed. I have my timings fixed. Morning 6:30, I'll be out. Otherwise, I used to sit in the office till 9, 10. Late night. I have done that also. Startup. But now, मैंने खुद को रोका. I don't want to do this, nor I want my employees to do this. Right. Because there are two things: efforts and efficiency. Somebody told me your efforts are 100% proper. Right. But are you guys doing efficient work? Again, time dependent skill. देखो मेरे ना बहुत ही close friend है सभी. He just said me this कि प्रज्वल, तू ना तुम्हारे efforts की ना दाद दे दो. ठीक है, पर are those efforts efficient? Because client तुमको efforts के लिए एक chance देगा. But अगर efficiency नहीं रहेगी ना वो चला जाएगा. So you make your work efficient. So that's what my team and I started working on. We are doing थोड़ा काम but perfect काम, so that my clients are happy. Right? I don't want to sit like 12 बजे and do that. So I go and everybody was started saying कि मैं जाती हूँ. I go to my friend's cafe. Today she's completing her 1 year, so I go there. I meet her. So I have very few friends that I meet. Gauri is one of them. हम महीने में एक बार मिलते हैं, but we know from where we have to start. Right. Where we discuss and where we have to start. So and they understand. Again, as you said, you should have friends who understand. Yeah. And in this journey, I think I have a lot of entrepreneur friends now. तो मेरे friends थे वगैरह पहले वाले उनसे भी कम हो गया because maybe they think I'm not giving them time. I have complaints on my messages from few friends. Arey, you don't give us time. You don't have time to talk. You have become very busy. All of lately you have become very busy. So what attitude are you? This is not attitude. Just to be clear to everybody, this is not attitude. We are really very busy. We are hardworking because we are not doing it for ourselves, but we are doing it for our employees and for their families. People or for my customers also, because everybody is counting on us. Our single mistake और या हमने अगर overboard जाके कुछ ध्यान नहीं किया, मेरा एक employee भी गया ना, या अगर मेरा एक client भी गया, that is going to affect families here. So that जब मेरा कोई client जाता है, I sit here. This is my favorite place to sit and cry. अगर in case कोई client जाता है, this happened actually. The retention rate of client, you also know in this agency is very low. Okay. So जब कोई client जाता है, sit here and cry. And one of my employees saw me crying one day and फिर मैं क्या हुआ, मैंने कहा यार I'm not feeling bad for myself because I know कि मैं 10 client ले आऊँगी. But अगर मैं ऐसे ही client जाते गए ना, तो फिर it is going to affect everybody here sitting here and everybody is sitting for on me. Right. My family is counting on me. everybody is counting on me. मेरे customer का नुकसान नहीं होना चाहिए मेरी वजह से, ना तुम्हारा नुकसान होना चाहिए. So that is where we are busy. She is busy. You know, you need to, everybody needs to understand that life of an entrepreneur is really very difficult. So again, coming back to you, okay. So what according to you is beauty? This is a common question that I ask all my women.
Yes, so beauty to me is kindness. I mean, that is the definition. So I had this very, very, very close friend, super smart, but he's very arrogant, very rude. And to him, he used to be like, oh, that person's down, oh, that person doesn't do things. So for me now, kindness moves mountains. And I think वो मेरा थोड़ा toxic kindness भी हो जाता है कि सबसे kindness रखे वो, it has bit me back also because too much kindness. But I still feel that we really like this one thing that everybody has battles, we don't know what they are going through. So if I see a really beautiful woman also, like amazing, sexy figure, but if she is very rude and if she is like, you know, not kind to people or not understanding, I hate it. I have seen models, people in Nashik outside who are beautiful and everything, but at the end of the day, it doesn't attract me.
Yeah.
But if there is a lady, if there is a kid, if there's someone who's kind enough, I feel like, oh, when will I strive to be?
So nice. So on this note, we have a very beautiful gift for you from our client. So can we have the product, please? It's a makeup product. We have a beauty. So in 5, Yumi is the brand now. They had this, you know, this is a collection in 5 and they have amazing products. You should try them. I use them actually. I used it today and they have amazing product for office look and all. So there are a lot of other products also. This is for you. Please try.
Thank you, thank you, Yumi.
So
means a lot. Thank you so much.
Please try.
I love receiving makeup because I don't like investing in it. एक बार करके देख लिया, बैग में रख के कुछ नहीं वो खराब हो गया.
But I hope you use that and you invest in this brand.
I saw Kajal. I use Kajal and lip balm, so I'm going to use this. Thank you so much. Plus, this makeup that I've put, by the way, is also of Inspire because that's what Prabhjot gave me. So yeah, you can see.
Yeah, so that's the product that I'm using lately, and it is amazing. Everybody should use this. Nail is also there.
Okay, so before we cut, I just have one more question for you. Why did you start this podcast? What inspires you to continue? See, I'll tell you what. I had this one very big client. He is a finance person. He has millions of following everywhere. He comes to me, Kanishka podcast start करना है. सिर्फ क्यों करना है? एक और social media platform हो जाएगा इसलिए करना है. ऐसे जैसे नहीं चलता ना. What is your vision? Because podcast में ना इंसान थक जाता है. Prabhjot just told me कि we have 357 followers. You know, एक इंसान जिसको motivation मिल रहा है even with 357 followers to put so much of a setup, invest her time, invest something. What motivates you to do this?
I'll tell you. See, then as a lady, you know, it's very difficult for you to even think of a business because there are a lot of questions coming, right, from your family to your kids. You have to take care of kids. How you know, because entrepreneurship is something you have to do it 24 hours. As I told, I have lost relationships because of this. I've lost a lot of friends because of this. So, ऐसा बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है. As a startup entrepreneur, when I came into this, I had no one to guide me. And I know I don't want to take my guidance of my father, though he was the best entrepreneur. Okay, because I wanted to do it all by myself. But at some point of time, I needed guidance also. Okay, मेरे पास कोई नहीं था to guide me कि ये क्या होता है. You know, right from registration. जो अभी भी मैं अपने CA के पास में जाती हूँ ना, तो यार ये क्या है, मेरे को इतना क्या टैक्स भरना पड़ रहा है for what? मतलब मैंने आपकी बेनिफिट के लिए है मैम, ऐसा ही ना. So, you know, these kinds of questions used to come up. तो मुझे लगता था ये मेरा ही क्वेश्चन नहीं है, दूसरों का भी क्वेश्चन हो सकता है, राइट? और लड़कियों का स्पेशली, क्योंकि उन लोगों को बताने वाला कोई क्या बोलेगा, तेरे को कैश करना है, चुपचाप से जाना जॉब पे, जॉब कर, पैसे कमाने, जॉब कर, घर पे आ, शाम को बच्चों को दे. This is the psyche and mentality, and women entrepreneurs, though they are doing, they're not coming in limelight. They're not being highlighted. There are n number of podcasts for men. Everywhere we see men entrepreneurs are coming. Nobody is talking about women entrepreneurs. There are few, right? So I wanted to bring this change. I think कि मेरे podcast से अगर एक lady भी influence होती है ना, 365 followers, you know, whatever subscribers that we have on YouTube channel, but then अगर वो 365 में से एक की भी life में मेरा podcast value add करेगा, तो I think that is a lot for me, and I hope women like you come up and motivate and give. You guys are so inspiring. I get to learn so much from every guest that is coming here. So I'm sure कि बाकियों को भी ऐसे कुछ सीखने मिल रहा है, right? So इसलिए this podcast is for that. This podcast is not for my fame. मुझे fame चाहिए तो I can do a lot of things, right? Of course मेरा Mediashark का भी थोड़ा value add हो जाता है इसमें. To be honest, it is helping my agency also to grow, and people coming here start trusting me also, and people get to know what as a person I am, what as a person you are, being an entrepreneur. So you're sharing your views, your this thing, your challenges, and I like challenges. You know, I like to talk about it. What have you done, to overcome that? कैसे कर सकते हैं? So I guess this podcast is all about is to add value, because I don't know money YouTube हमको कब देगा कब नहीं देगा, when I'm going to get that. But yes, value add करना है, यही मेरा एक मोटो है, and I think मेरी टीम का भी यही मोटो है कि everybody don't miss this podcast, because we have shared a lot for you guys to learn that how this entrepreneurship journey is, what challenges you face, and how to deal with it.
Thank you so much, Prabjot. So
wonderful having you.
Thank you. So guys, this podcast is for all the women entrepreneurs, or women basically who would like to get inspired from entrepreneurial journey. Please don't forget to check this podcast, entire podcast out on YouTube, and Prabjot will see you guys in the next podcast. Bye bye.
And also if you have anybody, your boss, your family, your mother, your sister, anybody around जिसको आपको लगता है she has a story to share, she has a journey to share, please suggest her to our podcast, and we'll definitely welcome them and we have them to talk with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.